humor a second chance at life. A good example of this was the last Valentine's Day. I was at my local grocery store in the floral department trying to find that perfect bouquet to take home with me, and there's another gentleman a couple feet away doing the exact same thing, and he didn't talk to me, but he was talking to me because I was the only one around, and he was talking pretty loud. This is what he says. He goes, "Man, it's crazy how much money you got to spend on something that's just going to die." And I was like, "I know. And you got to buy him flowers." Now, listen, people. I love my wife, but that may be the funniest thing I have ever said in my entire life, okay? But he wasn't ready for it. He was like, "Well, good luck with that, buddy." And he just started to walk away. I was like, dude, that was gold. It's a good thing I'm on Twitter. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, which means I go on terrible Midwest family vacations every year. I have no say in where we go. 2 years ago, we went to Amish country. I don't know if you guys have been to Amish country, but that place is not fun at all. Okay, I did not care for. You know what I didn't like? I'll tell you what I didn't like. The people. I didn't like the people. I'm sorry. If you're friends with them, I apologize. I found them to be very hypocritical, you know? Because they're all, "We don't believe in electricity, but we'll use it if we need to run your Visa card." And I don't like that attitude, all right? I said, "You go big or go home, Ezekiel. Don't plug up." It's a slippery slope. He didn't like me, probably because his name wasn't Ezekiel, but he looked like it should have been, you know, I couldn't have been that far off, is what I'm trying to say. I think we just got started on the wrong foot, okay? Because the only reason I agreed to go in the first place was if I was allowed to take pictures that I could put on Facebook. And the first time I take a picture, I get scolded by this Amish man. He says, "Sir, we would appreciate if you're going to take pictures that you did not take them of us." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Pictures give us a sense of pride, and we don't like to do things that make us feel proud." I said, "You're charging $3,000 for a kitchen table without any chairs to go with it. I'm pretty sure you're proud of that table, all right?" Not proud. "Why don't you tell me for the fourth time how you put that barn up in one day? You're not proud." Okay, I'm just gonna go over here and I'll just let you know that I don't care how good your pretzels are. I'm not gonna be coming back here to Amish country. And I left them a scathing Yelp review. I never heard back from a manager, which is so typical. But, last year we did Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Been there? Yeah. Gatlinburg, if you haven't been, it's an American Indian word. It means land of the couples that wear matching airbrush t-shirts. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's accurate, okay? And they always pick the same design. It's a silhouette of a much skinnier couple than the people who are wearing the t-shirts. And on the shirts, that couple, they are holding hands, confidently in love. Their feet are in the sand. They're underneath a palm tree. There's a rainbow sunset on what is clearly the ocean in the background. Then they write Gatlinburg across the top so that you know which of the islands in the Smoky Mountains that they visited, right? They're not smart people, okay? But it makes for great people watching. Now, I don't know if you like to people watch, but I'm a huge fan. It's free. You know, you just sit there with someone you love and talk about the folks walking by for a couple hours. And Gatlinburg is prime pickings. I mean, get your camera ready. You're gonna see someone that you like enough to want to share them with others. And I'd like to put this out there. If you ever take pictures when you people watch, please email them to me because my buddies and I trade them like they're baseball cards. It's probably the most fun game I've ever played. I'll give you a couple tips if you think you might want to take pictures when you people watch. Number one, make sure that the flash and the sound on your phone are turned off. I know, sounds like a no-brainer, right? Guys, I've been doing this a long time. I messed up. I'm in line for security at the airport. I'm going this way, coming at me, gentleman, Hawaiian shirt, shaved face, but out of the top of his shirt was this perm. I don't know if that's the right. A tuft. It was the brightest, whitest, bushiest chest hair I have ever seen in my life. I've seen white chest hair, okay? This was next level. It was teased, possibly bleached. He looked like a Build-A-Bear whose neck had been slit to send a message to the other Build-A-Bears to get it together because the numbers are low, right? And I knew if I didn't get a picture of him, I wasn't going to be able to sleep that night. Now, here's the rub. I can't take a picture from this distance at this angle. No one's going to appreciate how awesome this thing is. If I really want the likes, I got to time it so that when he's passing by me, I can get that profile shot. Right? Really give it some depth. Now, to do this, it's a timing thing, so I have this face I make, which is basically, what? I'm just checking Twitter, even though my phone's kind of pointed in your general direction. He stops right here, I hit the button, it's like, kick flash. I was like... There's a Pokemon on your shoulder, sir. Could you please? I'm gonna get it. Please hold still. Oh, he jumped into your obnoxious chest hair. That stinks. Maybe next time. We'll get him next time. We'll get him at the layover. So be careful. The other tip is also very obvious one, but it's what happened to me when I was in Gatlinburg, and that's to make sure you have a full battery, all right? If you're gonna spend a day people watching picture taking, charge up. Because I'm in Gatlinburg. I'm on the main drag. If you've never been there, Gatlinburg is basically just one hill. It's just one street, you know, with museums. I mean, that's their word, not mine. I mean, call me old-fashioned, but I just feel like if Cooter, the tow truck driver from the Dukes of Hazzard, is the only face I can see on the front of your building, you're not allowed to call it a museum, okay? I don't care what's inside. They got a lot of gift shops, and then my favorite place to people watch in any tourist town, but especially Gatlinburg, is the old-fashioned candy kitchen. I love that place so much, because no matter what time of day you walk up, you're gonna see the same thing. There's going to be a hillbilly pressed up against the window who cannot figure out how they're making taffy on the other side of the window, and it is the greatest thing they've ever seen. They're like, get out of here. Nuh-uh. Hey, come look. It's where they make it. The taffy from Cracker Barrel. Yeah, it all comes from... I don't know how they do it, even though I can see the whole process from right here. They stand there hours. And I saw her a block away, dude. The Mickey Mantle rookie card of people watching. I got so excited, I was like, I've heard about you. Oh, you are coming home with me. Easy, girl. Easy, girl. I'm not gonna hurt you. I got close enough, I pressed the button, nothing happened, I just pressed it again. Dead battery sign, what? No! I scared her, she ran back into Ripley's, believe it or not. Believe it or not. And I just sat down on the bench right there in between the Pancake Pantry and Fanny Farkle's arcade. I was so mad. All this time I tracked her. I just let her get away. I wish I could pass my phone around and let you guys see how awesome she was, but I can't because I was careless. So I'll just describe her as best I can. She had early 1990s hair. Remember that look? Pulled back tight in a ponytail, but in the front. Guys, you remember that look? I don't know if you ever saw how those got made. I showed up too early for prom one year, haven't slept a full night since. That haunts me. I'll never forget, I walked through the back door, corsage in hand. She's just standing there in front of the big mirror. She was gorgeous. But this lady in Gatlinburg, I don't know how else to describe. She looked like someone who might frequent a Long John Silver's / Kentucky Fried Chicken, like a 2-in-1 fast food restaurant. I don't know if you guys ever go to those, but there's good people watching in there too. So any of them, I don't care what the combo is. For some reason, the average redneck brain can't seem to process that there are two businesses operating behind one counter and sharing the menu above. And the first time they see it, it just catches them off guard. They're like, okay, could I get a... Okay, do I need to be at this register if I want chicken? Is this like a food court or something? It's the same company. I can order off of both of them. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I'm getting a family meal deal. I get 2 sides. Could I get a side from this side and then a side from that side? Like if I could hurry up and decide, could I go from side to side for my sides? I can? I want to try that. Okay. Well, extra biscuits. I mean, I knew that before I came in here. And what does Long John Silver's have? Hush puppies. What? Can I do that? 2 breads? Oh, yeah, hook it up. I know it sounds like I'm really exaggerating for the sake of stand-up comedy, but it's not as much as you think, okay? I promise if you go to any 2-in-1 fast food restaurant and just grab a seat close to the register, just within earshot, within 5 minutes, you'll hear some trucker spit out a sentence that has never been formed in the history of words because he's buckling under the pressure of the line that's now formed behind him. He's like, oh God, I'm sorry, you guys. I hadn't even thought about tacos, and then I come in here and boom, right there they are next to the pizza. But if you can make wherever you go, half of it Long John Silver's, like that's where you're gonna have the best time, all right? At any Long John Silver's, you will hear a grown man ask for extra crumbs, which is a new low for our society and really racist humans. Now, if I've completely lost you, Long John Silver's, it's a fast food seafood restaurant. And what they do is they take chicken and fish and they dip it in their batter and then they put it in the deep fryer. And when they flip it from the deep fryer, little pieces of that batter break off. And then a pile of those little pieces form. And then people go, hey, could I get a scoop of the thing that, right there? I want some of that stuff, like the garbage on the bottom. I want some of it, like, put some of that into my treasure chest. They get all, and I was like, did that guy just ask for more crumbs? Like, I thought I might have misheard, right? She pushes a button on the register. Boop, crumbs, 10 cents. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. How often does this happen? Okay? Seriously. Like, I thought I could be witnessing the first time in the history of Long John Silver's where some guy was like, listen, this is gonna sound a little crazy, but I'm a little short on cash and I have a long drive ahead of me. Could you maybe just put some of that stuff into a cup? I could snack on it while I'm on the road. I don't know. No, people. It happens so much that it has been programmed into the register. And if that's the case, right? If whatever you call that stuff has its own button, which I'm pretty sure we can all agree was not in the original business plan. That tells me that there was a day somewhere that it went down, right? And as a professional people watcher, I'm just mad I wasn't there to see it. You know, because I just picture some toothless manager storming out of the back. Hey, somebody's going to have to start paying for these crunchies, all right? I can't be giving this stuff away all day. If everybody's going to ask for it, we got to figure something out. Let's just be honest. Y'all love free stuff. That's what it is, ain't it? Yeah, it is. That's why we had to get rid of our tartar sauce pump and switch to packets, put them behind the counter, limit 2 per customer, because y'all were pumping it right into your boats. Are you kidding me? Nobody needs that much tartar sauce. I'm done. Well, I don't care if I said it before. I mean it this time. You watch. As soon as I can afford that lift kit and them Luke Bryan tickets, you ain't never gonna see me again. I'm out. Well, of course I'm going. Florida-Georgia line's opening. I ain't gonna miss that. They're the only dudes that can settle me down right now. You do that for me? All right, you take the Nelly part. You make me wanna roll my window. Okay, listen. Obviously, I've thought way too much about a day that probably never happened, okay? I'll give you that. But I have questions, and I want them answered. And the only people that can answer them are those in charge at the Yum Brands. If you're not familiar with who they are, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Long John Silver's, A&W Root Beer. Now, I don't know what they're on, but they're on something, okay? All their ideas, whether it's for the restaurant, the 2-in-1 fast food concept itself, I feel like they just get together in a big room. Hey, Carl, you got anything? There have been several occasions where I was like, I want fried chicken and pizza at the same time, but probably was not in a stable position to drive 2 separate places. Can we do something about that? Yeah, I think we could do something about that. We could probably sell both of those here, right? Yeah? All right, we can put that down, save some money on rent. Phil, what do you guys got? Okay, we're representing Pizza Hut, and you know the doughy part around the outside of the pizza? The crust? The crust, dude. I told you it was called the crust. What if, and I'm just spitballing here, we remove the crust and replace it with a ring of soft pretzel, pigs in a blanket, and if we can't do that, could we just fill it with cheese? Well, we can certainly look into one of those, if not all of them. I think those are all good ideas our audience would certainly enjoy. Ricky, what about you? I've always wanted to make taco shells out of Doritos. That's what I'm talking about. That needs to be, put that down first. We got to figure that one out first. Maybe the greatest idea that's ever come out of these summits. We'll start with nacho cheese, Cool Ranch in the 4th quarter. People love little red and green flecks on their taco shells at Christmas. I love it. I love everything I'm hearing. Taco Bell, they crack me up, right? Because they know if you're going to eat there, you're going to eat there, right? Nobody's on the fence about Taco Bell. Nobody's like, well, let's just wait and see what the next commercial looks like. You know if you're going to go back or not. And Taco Bell knows that. That's why they can put out a product that has the exact same ingredients as 3 other products on their current menu. They just change the name and or shape of it and will make you feel dumb for asking about it. They're like, what we have for the spring, this is seasoned steak, lettuce, cheese, tomato, and sour cream encased in a flour tortilla. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, that sounds like a steak burrito. Well, it's not. Okay. A steak burrito is rolled up, okay? With this, we fold the sides in, we press it with a t-shirt iron. I don't know what's so hard to understand about the technology we've invested in the crunch wrap. That's what we're calling it. It's a crunch wrap. Their desserts, they don't even try with their desserts. They just take some other dessert you're kind of familiar with and change it a little bit, you know? We have Cinnabon bites. Isn't that just a cut up Cinnabon? I mean, yeah, but we cut it up for you, okay? You could say gracias. We took the time to put it into this drink cup that was already sitting right here. I mean, how much of the lifting do we have to do? I remember a couple years ago, the Hostess company went bankrupt, and then like a month later, some mysterious entity saved them from bankruptcy. I thought for sure it was Taco Bell. I was waiting for that commercial. For years, I was waiting for that commercial, right? It's the Twinkie burrito. We have stuffed a Twinkie full of taco meat, deep fried it. Sir, would you like Twinkie cream or sour cream? I don't care if it's coffee cream. I would like my Twinkie burrito, some fire sauce, 2 Ho-Ho Lupas, and a Mountain Dew. The blue Mountain Dew, too. I want the Baja. Guys, we got an obesity problem in this country. And I know you're like, is this dude about to make fun of fat people while using his stomach as an armrest? And the answer is yes. I sure am. Okay, you don't have to clap. That's not supposed to be the funniest thing I've said so far, okay? I understand where I'm at with this body. There's so many little signs that tell you need to fix it. All right, you need to get it together. Like I'm in a way now where if I raise my hand higher than this, I gotta fix my clothes when I put it back down. Little signs let you know it's time to clean it up. Had another one recently when I was on a airplane and the Delta flight attendant asked me to switch seats to balance out a 747. That will ruin your day instantly. And I know it wasn't me, all right? I know it wasn't me. It was where I was sitting versus where there were too many empty seats. But when you're a little self-conscious about your weight, you can't process that. You can't rationalize. That's not what you hear. What you hear is, sir, if you go 10 feet that way, the whole plane will fly properly. Could you help us out? Could you help us out? Thank you. Thank you. It's very kind of you. And if you have to use the restroom, please ring your call button so we can send 2 people back to your seat. I don't want to go nose up right into the sun, okay? Yes, I'll give you some extra Biscoff cookies for this hassle. Yes, I will. I know they're your favorite, yes. I don't know, I think this is going to be my year to get it back, you guys. That wasn't supposed to be funny either, man. I'm a little optimistic. My weight's gone up and down my entire life, and I blame the Book It program. Some of you know. If you're unfamiliar, when I was in elementary school, Pizza Hut decided that the best way to solve the illiteracy problem was to offer children a free personal pan pizza if they read 4 books, or told their teacher that they read 4 books. And it was great. It was great when you were a kid. You got pizza for doing homework. But 25 years later, nobody's making you read books. You're hooked on pizza. That's kind of what I'm going through right now. I just love food. And it's not that I eat too much. I just eat the wrong things. I love bad food, you know? But I know I'm not the only one. I mean, Bath & Body Works was selling a candle that smells like mashed potatoes. How fat are you, okay? When you want your bedroom to smell like buttered mashed potatoes. This fat. I got the gravy one too. You guys, it smelled so good. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie to you. You're so nice. It smelled just like them. It was buy one, get one. And I got a free bottle of fried chicken body wash because I opened up a credit card to pay for it like it was totally a good deal. I mean, you can turn on the TV and know how we feel about food. There's a reason there's not a show called Gluten-Free Vegan Cupcake Wars. No one wants to watch it. Nobody's like, hey, did you see Salad Boss last night? Yeah. It's crazy. And vegans, I don't know if there's any vegans in here with enough strength to raise your hand. Is there one? Was that her? Was that someone calling out for meat? Oh, I'm a vegan. Help me. I need a burger. No. I'm envious of vegans. If you can do it, good for you. I ain't about that life. I've had one vegan experience. It did not go well. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm walking down the street. I pass a bakery with all these beautiful things in the window. So I just kind of poke my head in and I go, excuse me, ma'am, what are those on the bottom? She says, that's a root beer float donut. And it just came out of the oven about 20 minutes ago. Do you want one? I was like, no, I want 2. But only put 1 in the bag because the other one ain't making it out of this store. So she hands me the one over the counter. I take a bite as we walk to the register, and I was like, no. She's like, sir, did you know this is a vegan bakery? I was like, nope. And she's like, yep, that's what I figured. She goes, see this sign right here? It says no product contains an ingredient that comes from an animal. And I was like, well, that's ironic, because this is some bullshit. No, listen, I didn't say it, but I should have, because she deserved to hear it. And you do deserve to hear it. She should have known when I came through that door that I was in the wrong place. Look at me. Look at me. I guarantee I don't look like any of her regulars, okay? And I would have had a lot more respect for her if she would have been like, sir, I think you might want the place down the street. Yeah, that's okay. It happens all the time. It's right down the street. Love everything you're looking for. Milk, eggs, butter, taste. Right down the street. Just, yeah. I don't know. Maybe 2 blocks. I'm sure you'll call an Uber. You can wait in here. I know. It's at least 70 degrees with no humidity outside. I wouldn't want you melting. All I'm saying is, I don't know who came up with that phrase, looks can be deceiving. But I bet they just walked out of a vegan bakery. That's what I'm trying to say. I think you can tell how much we love food based on the shows that are popular, you know? Man versus Food. They're on round 2 of that. They got a new guy because the first one exploded or whatever. Like, do we need to do that show again? I don't think we do. Do we not learn the first time around? I did. I learned what will happen to your body if you eat terrible every day for 6 years. And if you think I'm wrong, watch an episode from season 1 of Man vs. Food, then immediately watch an episode from season 6 of Man vs. Food. You'll see the difference. That guy was way skinnier when he started, and he had an amazing vocabulary. Where'd that go? Watch season 1. The guy is super articulate. He's like, folks, there's a symphony of flavor going on in my mouth right now. When I crunch down, I got heat from the peppers. I got sweet from the relish. There's salt in the bacon. This place is amazing. They've made perfect harmony in the form of a sandwich. But then 6 years later, he's like, this is yummy. This is so good. I think it's too easy to eat terrible. That's what I think it is, you know? Because it wasn't that long ago where it's like, you want to eat bad, you got a couple places you can go to. Now they compete with each other to see who can offer something worse for you. Wendy's has a sandwich called Son of Baconator. Their food is having kids when they're closed. Do you understand how bad that is for you? That's how I order it, too. I'm like, give me a Baconator and one of his children. I don't know. You got a boy? They usually taste better. Golden Corral is a thing. You can go there once. You can't go twice. Because there's no way to not look at other people eating there. There's no regulations on what people are and aren't allowed to do with their food, and that's why I'm out. It's like, no, I understand the value of giving me access to this chocolate fondue fountain for $8, but I'm not going to use it because I just saw that guy pass by with his prime rib. Hey, that's not gravy. Oh, I know. What's that? It's whipped cream on corn on the cob. It's called cream corn, all right? I'm trying to have lunch, if you don't mind. You can order bad food off a TV. QVC sells food. The shopping channel, they have food on there. You can have 4 dozen individually wrapped, frosted sugar cookies delivered to your front door. They'll give you 6 months to pay it off. That blows my mind that that's an option. Why is that an option? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. If you're buying a laptop or a living room set, sure. But if you have to put cookies on Easy Pay, maybe don't get the cookies, okay? And then the next channel over tells you how to get rock hard abs in 90 days. I fell for that one too. P90X. I got it. It's a 90-day program. I made it 15 minutes, about 15 minutes. It was hard. Nobody on those DVDs looked like me. Once again, that should have been my clue that I was in the wrong place. Every person on there yelling at me. Like they know me, telling me to keep going no matter how much it burns. Well, you look like you've been doing it since you could walk. How about just one guy that looks like me, laying on the ground, out of breath before the warm-up's over? You know what I'm saying? I might check out disc 2 just to see what happened to that guy. They're like, well, we lost Kevin yesterday, but we're glad that you're back. Because today is all about that core. I don't know, it just wasn't for me. And I'm sure you're like, well, you probably had a bad attitude about it. No, I didn't. I had the right attitude. I upgraded to the multicolored resistance bands. I expedited the shipping. I wasn't even looking for it. I'm just on the couch, minding my own business, watching TV. And this dude comes on, he's like, hey man, you want a 6-pack? Yeah. You want it in 6 months? I mean, 3 would be better. Done. So I called him, put it in, and within seconds, immediately regretted every decision I had ever made in my life that led me up to that moment. Because I was terrible at it, right from the beginning. And I think that's why I got so frustrated, you know? Because like, let's say this is where my health was. And I see the P90X DVD, and I'm like, that's it. That's gonna be my ticket. I'm about to get jacked up. But I was so bad at it that when I took it out, I didn't want to do anything. I just sat around, watching TV, eating Oreos. I tried every kind of Oreo they came out with. Almost out of spite, like I was trying to hurt P90X's feelings. You know when you see your ex, when you're with your new one, you're like, this is who I'm with now. That's how I was with P90X, just eating Oreos right in their face. How you like that, Tony? And by the time I snapped out of that funk and I felt like I wanted to be active again, I was down here. I was like, dude, this is not fair. I'm fatter because I tried P90X. And that's how it went with everything. Diets. I tried every kind of diet. I was on this Minecraft diet, 3 square meals a day. Did nothing. Exercise programs, gym memberships. About the Fitbit. Everybody was like, Josh, that's what you need is a Fitbit. Technology. You can track your progress right from your phone. You'll love it. Got the nicest Fitbit they make. Vibrates, sends you little messages. I've just learned to ignore it like everything else that's ever tried to help me live a longer, happier life. Be like, want to go for a walk? No, I'm good. What I need is a Quitbit. That's what I need. I need someone to invent that. Just a device that'll buzz and send me little messages that reaffirm this lifestyle I've grown to love. You're doing great. Go back to bed. Oh, okay. Who wants meatballs? I want meatballs. They're on QVC right now. Oh, okay. And they were. I'm loaded up on meatballs for 2 years. I'll have them paid off in February. It's great. What I realized is that I was watching P90X in the first place. Like, that was what was doing me wrong. Because if you watch it long enough, you're like, everybody looks like this, you know? But now what I do is when it comes on, I turn it off and I put on Trainwreck TV to remind myself there's a lot of people out there way worse off than I am. So if I can just maintain this, I'm cool with that. That's the way to do it. Like, it's so much easier to achieve your goals when you don't set any. Like, seriously, you just wake up. You're like, I've won the day. I was watching those shows already. I was just watching them wrong. Intervention, Freaky Eaters, I didn't know I was pregnant. All those shows. I used to think they were sad. Now I think they're great for building self-esteem. And I understand some people have a problem with that. I'm just telling you what works for me. Because sometimes I'll be sitting in my hotel and I'll think, I don't know if I'm going to have a good show tonight. And then I turn on My Strange Addiction. I'm like, yes, I am going to have a good show tonight. And I know I am, because I'm not going to go out and eat toilet paper when it's over. That's how I know. Same characters, just different faces. Just walks right up to begin. How hard for me. Bring. We're 25 on with my.
Put ice on the highway.
We'll see you next time.
Looking good. Yes, Provo. Utah. February. Yeah, winter does not affect you people. Foot ice on the highway, foot of snow on top of that, you're still going 90 miles an hour. That's what the side windows are.
But it's amazing to be here. You guys have been so great. Everybody's been so nice. You know, I spent my day, I went to like 8 thrift stores. This town, this is like a time machine, this town. You guys shop at thrift stores? I do, I love it. I like the Savers, because they try to act like a regular department store, but I've never been to a regular department store that smells like my grandma's house and stuff, so it's a little weird. You can find amazing things. You can get a bowling ball for $1. Actually, you know what? You can get a bowling trophy for 50 cents and just cut out the middleman. My friends are like, dude, I didn't know you bowled a 300 game, and there's a lot of things you don't know about me. How come we don't ever go bowling? I don't want to talk about it anymore. Maybe I'm in the famous bowler relocation program, bro. You ask a lot of questions about what's obviously my favorite sport, based on the amount of trophies I have with other people's names on them. Now you ruined it. This happened to me at Goodwill. I'm 48 years old, which is not terribly old, but it's midlife if I'm being honest with myself and others. I'm checking out at Goodwill, and the lady behind the counter says this to me. She goes, "Are you eligible for any discounts?" And I didn't know what she meant by that, and I was like, "Oh, I like to save money. What kind of discounts are we talking about?" I walked right into it. She was like, "I don't know, 55 or older?" And I was like, "No, I'm not eligible for that particular discount at this time." And then she goes, "You know what? I didn't think so." "Oh, you didn't think so? Well, then who brought that up then where I could be a senior citizen? Was the guy in the bric-a-brac going, check his ID? Well, he might want to save 87 cents. "Oh, I didn't think so. Oh, you." I was at a Salvation Army store once. There was a guy in front of me checking out who wanted a discount on shoes because the shoes he was buying didn't have laces in them. And I was like, "Hey, it's $2 for shoes. Take a chance. You know, it's probably gonna work out." And he was arguing with the cashier, and at one point he goes, "Well, I want to talk to the manager about the shoelace policy of the Salvation Army." Those words have never been said in that order, ever. And I was next in line. I'm like, "Hey, maybe they take the laces out of the shoes so the employees don't try to hang themselves on their lunch break. Like, I'll give you $1. I don't have time for your chicanery." Oh, I was mad, and I'm an English major. I was like, "Chicanery, look it up," and I threw a thesaurus at him and walked away. He was like, "I thought a thesaurus was a dinosaur." My favorite part about Goodwill is they have video cameras set up so you can't steal their awesome crap. They should have a video camera pointed at the video camera because that's the most valuable thing in the whole... Who is guarding the video camera? If I ran Goodwill, there would just be 2 video cameras pointed at each other. And people would be walking out with all of the macrame owls. One of those walkers with a toilet seat attached to the top. Grab that quesadilla machine. It's weird. You can't go to a Goodwill without finding a walker with a toilet seat attached to the top. Used. And I don't know why it's there, but I don't want to know why it's there. I'm pretty sure you have to die to give up your walker with the toilet seat attached. Right? There's no upgrade. You Can't get a nicer one or next year's model. Nobody's like, oh man, the 2020s just came in and there's a cup holder. This one's got Wi-Fi. This one's got Wi-Fi right there. Nobody wakes up all optimistic going, honey, I'm tired of pooping in my walker. Well, I'm gonna start using the toilet like everyone else, so call the Goodwill. Schedule pickup for my walker pooper today. Free at last. I mean, it's one thing to wear a shirt that's got some other guy's name written into the collar. It's another thing to use a dead guy's walker pooper. That's all I'm saying. I like a value, who doesn't? But in that situation, you gotta buy new. I'm sorry, you're not cutting corners. You're not trying to save a buck. There's too many memories associated with the dead man's walker pooper. It could be haunted, and then what? You got a haunted walker pooper in your house. A poopergeist. Look,
A lot's changed since last time I was here. The world ended. For a while, there was a worldwide pandemic. I don't know if you guys watched the news. It's pretty good story there for a long time. I don't even know if it's over, I think. I can't tell. No one's come out to tell us either way. I feel like Greta Thunberg should come out and just give us good news for once in her little life and be like, hey, I know I'm like the groundhog of bad news, but the pandemic's over, everybody. I think she should be the one to tell us. She should be given that honor, but I don't know. I thought the pandemic ended in March of 2021, and I actually declared that it was over. I yelled out loud. I declared the pandemic is now over. I have no jurisdiction to do that. But I saw so many other people yelling craziness about the pandemic that I felt left out, all right? But I really thought the pandemic was over in March of this year because I was flying home from Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah. Oh, are you? Okay. I've never, all right. Yeah. They do have an airport. You all right? I was flying home from Kansas City, Missouri, and across the aisle, this lady had the whole row to herself, and she laid down, face down, into the airplane seat cushion. Just face right into it. No pillow, no rolled up sweatshirt, just face into a seat cushion. And I was looking at her, I'm like, yeah, I think the pandemic's over now. But it is not. There is more. Man, this pandemic, it's just, I don't know, a bunch of craziness has happened. Feels like a Super Bowl halftime show. That's what it is. Like a really long one when we're at home and we're just like, yeah, I guess this is entertaining. But when can we go back to the thing we showed up for? You know? It's definitely entertaining moments, but it's a little long in the tooth. Yeah? Wrap it up. I miss this. I miss doing comedy in front of people. Like during the pandemic, I didn't stop doing comedy. I was doing comedy on Zoom. I don't know if you guys, Zoom, the meeting app? That should have been illegal. But they let us do comedy on Zoom. If you don't know what that is, comedy on Zoom is exactly what I'm doing right now, except I would be doing it in my living room, doing it into my laptop screen, which hurts my heart just to talk about. Here's something you might not know about comedians, but if we bomb at a venue, we just don't go back to that venue, all right? There's plenty of bars and restaurants I've never stepped foot back into in San Diego where I live because I bombed there, and they've offended me. And when I drive by, I give them an ugly look, all right? Because I remember that they hurt my heart. But during the pandemic, I was doing comedy on Zoom in a place I pay to live at, so I couldn't even leave. The next day, I would just wake up and I'd make coffee in the morning, like, yep, that's where it happened. That's where I lost my dignity. Now, when I did Zoom comedy, I did try to make it feel like the real thing. So what I asked was for everyone to put their microphones on so I could hear the laughter. So it was like this. And I remember in December, I did a company Christmas party at 1 p.m, which that should have been illegal, all right? Nothing is funny at 1 p.m, okay? You can't do comedy at 1 p.m. God's watching, all right? It's meant to be done at night in secret, you know? That's what comedy's meant to be. But I was doing comedy at 1 in the afternoon, and I asked everyone to put their microphones on, and there was an older lady in the audience. I could tell by her voice. She didn't have her video on, it just said Nancy on the screen. And she had her microphone on, but I don't think she meant to. Because like 2 minutes into my act, I hit a punchline, and everybody laughed. And for a second, I'm like, all right, this feels good. This feels like the real thing. And as soon as the laughter died down, Nancy, who doesn't realize her microphone's on, goes, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I gotta get to Costco. Really taking the wind out of my sails right now. Man, I do not miss Zoom. I did another company Christmas party that same day, and you know how you can see the other members of the meeting up at the top? I had someone leave my show by closing their laptop screen. Do you get why that hurts? Like, they just I saw them make the decision and execute. Like, it's dark in here. I can see the first few rows, but if someone in the back was like, I can't stand this, I gotta leave, I'll never know. And I'll leave tonight going, I had a fun show. But this person just looked in my soul and went, that's about enough of you. Do you get why that hurt? She didn't leave the meeting, she left technology. He's like, I'm gonna go read a book or something.
What else have been heard? Big data is that we live by big data. I love statistics, big data, analytics, whatever it is. But here's the thing. When it comes to big data, there's a lot of bad data out there. Because statistics can be manipulated. To show you how you can manipulate statistics, these are actual true statistics. Watch what I do with them. These are actual true. It turns out in China, there's about 1.4 billion people in China, right? 1.4. There are 7 billion people on Earth. Therefore, statistically, it cannot be argued 1 out of every 5 babies born on Earth are in fact Chinese. So you could say, statistically, if you got 4 kids, you're expecting a 5th, it will be Chinese. So don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. Don't be surprised. I don't have a problem with it. Usually a 5th kid's going to be Chinese. Just deal with it. So when you hear a statistic, always ask about the other side of a statistic. Ask, look at it from a different perspective. 44% of marriages end in divorce. 44%. Now, that's a scary number. That's scary. When you first get married, you're like, oh my God. But here's the thing. It's not so scary when you look at it from a different perspective. If 44% of marriages end in divorce, you know what that means? 56% of marriages end in death. Those are the 2 ways that marriages end, folks. Apparently this is just occurring to some of the married people out there. Just enjoy being married because it's not pretty when it ends. Trust me. Perspective is important. Here's another one. 65% of Americans are overweight for their height. But maybe, just maybe, 65% of Americans are just not tall enough for their weight. I am not 20 pounds overweight. I am 3 inches too short, darn it. I'm going to Height Watchers. The insurance companies will tell you this is true. 95% of all car accidents occur within 1 mile of your home. That is true. And even in the brightest of crowds, there's always a couple of people thinking, ooh, I gotta move. No, that's not gonna help. Trust me, that is not gonna help. But if you believe that, therefore, if you believe that, the safest thing to do is park 1 mile from your home and walk the rest of the way. Really, do that. Please do that. This one's amazing. I wrote it as a joke, but I actually think it's a good idea. Watch this. When the lottery a couple years ago hit $1.6 billion, 146 million people bought tickets. 146, remember that number. 146 million people bought tickets. In the 2016 president's election, 136 million people voted. 10 million less than played the lottery. Yeah. So you know what? We want more people to vote. Every election, we should pick 1 voter to win $1.6 billion. Look at that. Now we're all, I can't wait to vote. Let's go vote. We wait in line for hours. Who are you voting for? I don't care. Give me a quick pick. I just got to get in. This is a true survey. They asked women. I did not make this up. I read this and immediately thought what I'm about to share. 33% of women polled said they have dated an ugly guy just because he was funny. which I think is amazing. Ladies, you use a criteria. Nothing. I've never heard a man ever say, well, she's not very pretty, but she's funny. I want to go out with her. Doesn't happen. So thank you, ladies, for being so much less shallow than men. That's what I'm saying. So I thought that was great until I realized, hold on, I'm married. You know what that really means? That means there's a 1 in 3 chance my wife thinks I'm ugly. I'm like, honey, am I good looking? You're funny. Shut up. And then finally, I hear this one on the radio all the time. 1 out of 10 people suffer from hemorrhoids. 1 out of 10 people suffer from hemorrhoids. Does that mean that 9 out of 10 people actually enjoy hemorrhoids? Ooh, the itching and burning. Oh, that's that time of year they're back. Oh, let's go dancing. I can't sit down anyway. Come on.
Listen, I don't want to hate people. They make me hate them. I start out loving everybody. It's what you do that causes me to hate you. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'll give you an example. I had a car accident. I'm okay. Young kid, stoned out of his mind, on his cell phone, music blaring, looked a lot like you. He barrels into the back of my car, gets out of the car, comes up to me. He's like, dude, I don't know what happened, dude. I go, oh, what happened is your mother forgot her birth control in 1997. That's what happened, dude. I didn't want to say that. He made me say it. I was a victim. I was victimized. How about this? On the airplane coming here, the woman in the seat behind me gets up and starts spritzing cinnamon. I go, lady, what are you doing? She goes, well, it's natural. I go, yeah, so's my butt, but I'm not putting it in your face. I didn't want to hate her. She made me hate her. I was a victim. Called the Department of Vital Statistics in New York City, and I said to the man on the other end of the phone, I said, sir, I need a copy of a death certificate. He said, is it for you? I said, yes, I plan ahead. I like planning ahead. That's what I do. I'm dead on the inside. Does that count? Can my ghost pick it up on Wednesday? I spent a lot of time in San Francisco, and there's really good people there. Environmentalists, if they find a turtle with a tumor, they will reroute an entire freeway. Healthy. My friend made me a veggie burger. She says, Maureen, it has corn and beans. It needs a little something else. I go, it needs beef. That's what that needs. That needs beef. Lamb, veal. Give me something in that. Sometimes too politically correct. Sometimes. I did my solo show, Daughter of a Garbage Man, and it is about my father and being raised in a working class family. And in the show, I say that my father is a blend of Archie Bunker, Fred Sanford, and Marlon Brando, the early years, not the fat years. This middle-aged woman comes up to me after the show and says, I'm offended that you used the word fat. I used to have eating issues. Well, who didn't? Get in line. And my therapist says I need to confront things that trigger me. And you picked me? You picked me. You've known me an hour and I'm the problem, really? I think you should confront cake and cookies. That's what you should confront. How did I become a part of your nightmare? I didn't want to hate her. She made me hate her. You see, I was a victim. I got a call from Caroline's on Broadway in New York City, and Caroline said to me, Maureen, I'm doing a private event. I want 5 women on the bill. I'd like you to be one of them. I said, oh, goodness gracious me, I would love that. And she said, but there's one caveat, one condition. She said, you have to talk about menopause. But I talk about men don't pause when you hit a certain age, but I just don't identify, I don't have symptoms. She said, it pays $5,000. I said, oh my goodness, I just got a hot flash. Like, I can't stop sweating. I can't stop sweating. So I have to go to get the makeup at the Bloomingdale's, and as I head to the counter, this young, hopeful, Dewey thing looks at me aghast. And she's like, oh, you have mature skin. As if it's contagious. And it is. She'll catch it in 20 years. You have to go over there to the mature skin counter, like way over there, like past your prime. Keep going. You'll see bitterness, regret, rage. Keep on going. Keep going until you see the diuretics, the dry eye, and the adult Depends dignity diapers. When you get to the adult Depends dignity diapers, you're in the right place. And my doctor says, well, Maureen, at your age, you may need them because you could get sudden bladder leakage. And I said, when? And she said, suddenly. I don't know, sir. I don't know if tonight's the night. I don't know. No idea. Get some galoshes. I don't know what to tell. I'm sorry. All I know is I'm getting Botox. Because if I'm going to pee on myself, at least I'll look pretty.
I don't know if you all know this or not, but this show will be streamed across the world. Millions of people will see it. So because I haven't traveled in a very long time and my family is watching this, I will use some of this camera time to say hello to some of them and talk about a few of you, okay? And I don't mean you, I mean my family. Since you won't answer my calls, you will see this on the internet, and I'm sending you a link, Aunt Vicky. She's selling her house, and I asked to buy the house at a decent price, and she wants to sell it to somebody who's not in our bloodline, so I hope you fall down a small flight of stairs, Aunt Vicky. I get to the jokes in a minute. I'm serious about this. I got a lot of family. I'm from St. Louis, okay? And I did Dry Bar a few years ago in a production company, Kaleidoscope Pictures. They're a wonderful company. They hired me, and now I'm one of the new cast members on Studio C. Thank you very much. Yes. So when you watch Studio C and you see these crazy sketches, they say, ah! I was at the show and that idiot was on stage. That's me. Yeah, so I moved here, and I don't get to see my family now because I'm stuck. No, not stuck in a bad way, you know. Well, I can't say not totally a bad way. I've dealt with some stuff since I've been here. Like, I feel like the only black person in town, okay? Let me just tell you that. I'm like a mascot, okay? I caused 2 accidents. They couldn't stop looking at me. Do you know Karl Malone? And I don't watch sports, so I was like, who is Karl Malone? I don't. I hate sports. I got a couple of family members. They will watch sports all day, every day, and I can appreciate sports, the work ethic that goes into it and everything, but I'm like, they're on TV making money. I need to be out making money. I don't have time to watch somebody win or lose. That's crazy. Aunt Vicky. And I love her, because she was my favorite aunt. I'm going to tell you this, Aunt Vicky, you were my favorite aunt. She was so nice, she's pretty, she's polite, she could cook. And the nice ones always die early. The mean ones last forever, amen? You know what I'm talking about. I have an aunt, and because of the rest of my family, I won't say her name on camera, but this lady is mean. When I tell you mean, I mean mean. Like, she walks around with a dark cloud over her head. Matter of fact, there's 2 of them. I won't talk about you either, Aunt. Oh, I'm sending them the link. I'm serious. I was a little boy. Thank you, sir, for that random laugh. The laugh of familiarity. He tried to clear his throat, but he tell the story. I was about 5 or 6 years old, and my mother used to always take me to church. I'll get back to that in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not from here. I already said that. I'm not a heathen, and I don't have that written across my head. Stop coming up to me asking me if I know Jesus, like you know him better than me. Okay. I'm just being honest. Were you yawning? Okay, anyway. Okay. Was it a good sign? All right, I'm leaving you alone. I'm doing a taping. I don't know if they can edit your sigh. Did you hear that sigh, Sergeant? I want an episode of Scooby-Doo. Zoinks! Like Scoob, did you hear her sigh? Anyway, I'm sorry, I have ADD. I was about 5 years old. I was in a different room, and my mother was sitting in a room with my aunt, who I don't like, but her name starts with an A. And I walked into the room, and they were having a conversation, and my aunt turned around and looked at me, and she said, "Speak of the devil." I didn't know what that meant at the time. But my mother always told me that the devil was very bad. It's an evil person. It's not good. So when I walk in the room and she points at me and says, "Speak of the devil," she made me think I was the devil. And I felt bad. And when she left, I told my mother, I said, you know, she didn't have to say that about me. And she called me the devil. And my mother said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "No, Mom, you said the devil was bad." And she told me about hell and everything. She said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "That's not good." And every time I saw my aunt after there, she would give me this scowl. She looked at me very crazily, right? I couldn't stand that lady. And I thought about that every time I saw her. And my oldest sister got married, and I went to the wedding, obviously, I'm her little brother. And my aunt came to the wedding, and everybody started dancing. And I was a little kid, and I didn't know how to dance. So I did the only dance that I knew how to do. It was the curly shuffle. You laughed because you know who Curly is. He's one of the Three Stooges. And he used to do this dance like this. He would kick his feet back 3 times and go, whoop, 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 whoop. That's the only dance I knew how to do. And I did that dance, and I kicked my aunt. And she acted like she got shot. She fell down. She's screaming all over the place. She grabbing her ankle and hopping and everything. I'm sorry. I apologized a bunch of times. The wedding was over. Days went by, weeks went by. I sent her a card. I apologized, and she never got over it. She came to my grandparents' anniversary dinner, and I was standing there waiting on my hamburger. My grandmother makes the best hamburgers on the planet. I don't know if she seasoned them with grace and mercy or love, but they taste so delicious. And it was my burger. I made my bun. You know, you ever had a homemade burger? You make the bun the way you like it, Miracle Whip, pickles and onions, mustard and all of the works, potato chips on the side. I had the plate ready, and my aunt came in the kitchen, and she was a little chubby, so she waddled in there, and she grabbed my piece of beef out of the skillet with a fork, and she put it on the bun that I built, and she mashed it together, and she took a bite out of it. She was smacking them big greasy lips. And I was looking at her like, no! And she took another bite. And she started having a heart attack. That's very cruel of you all to laugh. But I appreciate it. Because I had never seen a heart attack. I didn't know what a heart attack was. But I knew she was in trouble. And she bit my hamburger, so I started getting joy out of her having a heart attack. I didn't know what was wrong. And the hamburger was so good, she kept chewing it while she was having a heart attack. She going down. And I was going, I laughed until she dropped to the floor. And she dropped the hamburger, and I ran over and I grabbed it and I put it back together and I took a bite out of it and I looked at her right in her eyes and I said, speak of the devil. She's still alive to this day. She won't die. I don't know what it is about mean aunties and grandparents. They just won't die. She's still alive. And she's in a nursing home, and every time I go to St. Louis, I go visit her at that nursing home, and I take her a hamburger. Even though I know she can't eat it, I just eat it in front of her. Like I'm doing a commercial. How would you like the new Speak of the Devil burger?
I have trouble dealing with people on the phone and in person. These are the two areas I'm working in. I have nothing against the congenitally stupid. I just don't understand why they all end up in customer service. I'm in the supermarket. The other day I'm in the supermarket, right? I get out of the supermarket, I get in my car. My car won't start. So I call AAA. I said, yeah, I'm in the parking lot of the supermarket, the car won't start. The lady from AAA says, was your car working when you drove it there? As a matter of fact, it wasn't. I had to push my car all the way here from my house. Now it's all loaded up with groceries. It's a little too heavy to push back. Maybe you could send somebody over. We're at the mercy of these people. Every morning I go to the same store. I get the same 5 items every morning. I get a bottle of water, a banana, a cheese Danish, a cup of coffee, and a roll of Tums. 5 distinctly different items of all different sizes, shapes, and consistencies. And every morning, the guy behind the counter asks the same stupid question. You need a bag for that? No, I don't need a bag. In fact, don't even put the coffee in a cup. I'll just stand here with my mouth open. You can pour the hot coffee directly down my throat. With my car, I'm not a car guy, right? I'm a city guy, I'm not a car guy. Something goes wrong with the car, I gotta trust the mechanic, because I don't know what he's saying. Luckily, I have a very honest mechanic, and he keeps my car running beautifully. Because every time I go in for an oil change, he sells me a new transmission. Now the doctors are telling, here's the latest thing. The doctor says, oh, you gotta cut down on red meat. That's the thing, you're eating too much red meat. You know what I tell him? I said, you're wrong. I said, meat eaters live longer than vegetarians. Do you know why? Because we embrace life, and then we eat it. I'm a meat eater. I don't mess around. I go to a restaurant, I get a big juicy steak, I get a side order of pot roast, I get meatballs on top of that. I tell the waiter, take it back, put it in the blender, make me a meat smoothie. I'm a meat eater. Some vegetarians are very pushy. I saw a bumper sticker on a car. I swear. It said, meat makes me sick. Why would you put that on your car? Meat makes me sick. I'm gonna get a bumper sticker on my car that says, wheat gives me a rash. What do you think of that? I'm gonna get a bumper sticker on my car that says, if I so much as get in the same room with a plum, I develop a urinary tract infection. What do you think of that? That's a peculiar thing, this need people have to put their innermost feelings and beliefs on little pieces of paper glued to the back of their cars. People put information about their families on bumper stickers. My son's an honor student at Midvale High. I don't care. Do I bore you with information about my family on the back of my car? Do I have a bumper sticker on the back of my car that says, my cousin Bob in Hoboken has hepatitis? No, I don't do that. Then I go to the optometrist recently. I wear glasses when I'm not on stage. I've been wearing glasses my whole life. Recently, I go to the optometrist, and he hits me with one of these. He says, "Yeah, you're about 6 months away from bifocals." Oh, you hear that, and you fully expect to hear, and you're 12 months away from being spoon-fed tapioca by a registered nurse. So I had to go to the eyeglass store to get I'm wearing the multifocal lenses now. Anybody wear these things? I can't get used to these things. I don't know whether to look up or down. I got no depth perception. I leave the house in the morning, I feel like one of the flying Wallendas. So I gotta go to the eyeglass store. I just want to grab my glasses and get out. But you can't. Because first you gotta deal with the lady behind the counter, whose sole job is to take your new glasses and put them on your head. Because this is apparently a very complicated task. You might screw it all up and poke your own eye out. So she takes my new multifocal lens, she puts them on my head, and she looks. Then she takes them off. She makes a little adjustment. She puts them back. She looks. Then she says, "These are going to look crooked." But it's not the glasses. It's you. You have one eye higher than the other. So I said, "Could you take them back? Could you straighten them out?" She said, "No, they are straight. It's not the glasses. It's you." So now I'm starting to get a little steamed. I said, "Ma'am, now, you should know, when I start a sentence with the word ma'am, that's a key word. That means the volcano is about to erupt. It's like starting a sentence with all due respect. No one in the history of the English language has ever said anything respectful following with all due respect. It's always with all due respect, you should drop dead." So I said, "Ma'am, I've been wearing glasses all my life. I have never had this problem." She says, "Sir, with all due respect, I've been selling glasses all my life. I've never had this problem." I said, "Really? You've been selling glasses all your life?" So when all the other little kids were out on the front lawn with their lemonade stands, you were out there with your optometry kiosk. When all the little Girl Scouts were going door to door selling cookies, you were selling disposable contact lenses. So I do 12 rounds with this lunatic. I storm out. I get in the car. My wife's waiting in the car outside. I get in the car. My wife says, "What happened?" I said, "I'll tell you what happened. That woman's insane. She said I had one eye higher than the other." My wife says, "You just noticed this?" She says, "Everybody on your side of the family has one eye higher than the other." So now I'm juggling 3 different pairs of glasses. I got my new multifocal lenses. These are for everyday use and for driving. I still wear my old prescription for distance, like when I go to the movies, it's just easier. And now, of course, I also have my new reading glasses just for reading. So the ultimate nightmare for me would be to go see a foreign movie with subtitles at a drive-in theater. I got 3 different pairs of glasses I can't find in the morning. I walk around the house all day looking for my glasses. I gotta call my wife. I say, "Honey, come home, help me find my glasses." She comes home, she can't help me find the glasses because she can't find her glasses. I say, "Put your contact lenses in so you can see, so you can find your glasses." This is what we do all day. We look for glasses. Young couples just starting out. It's exciting. 24 years later, you look for glasses. This is what we do. This is what we do all day.
I started growing my hair long when I turned 40. That was my very mild midlife crisis. That's all I have the energy and money to do. That's all the rebellion I have left. Just screw you, supercuts. I'm off the grid. Yeah, you gotta do the hair flip to let the man know you mean business. That's like the exclamation point at the end of a long-haired sentence. That's how you know we're done talking. Like, yeah, so. It's never a smart sentence. It's never like, so that's when I got my master's. That's never happened. It's more like, so anyway, that's the day I learned. You can get a DUI on a bicycle. So wise. I have long hair. I'm still a little prejudiced against guys with long hair. I think it depends on the occupation, okay? Long-haired comedian, fine. Long-haired cardiologist, I've got a couple questions. Yeah, if they're like, I just completed the procedure and I think your dad's gonna be fine. Is he? I have to play a game with strangers. ever since my hair got long. I hate it. It's never my idea. The game is called Do You Know Who You Look Like? Yeah, and it's never Thor. Not once has it been Thor. Even when I'm holding the hammer, Thor has never been mentioned. Guess what I have gotten? Chubby Jesus. That's hurtful. I get it, but it's hurtful. Really? Guy standing next to me in line at a coffee shop? You just wanted to tell a stranger he looked like Chubby Jesus? You're a bad person. And guess what? I will not forgive you. Yeah, you're gonna have to talk to Skinny Jesus about forgiveness. Skinny Jesus walks on water. Chubby Jesus likes to keep a shirt on in the hot tub. He's less forgiving. I bet Jesus never got called a fat Foo Fighter. I don't really have a look that says I'm doing well financially. Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Thank you for clapping for my poverty. Thank you. I was at the grocery store. Checker was ringing up my stuff. She got to my bag of apples, and she was like, "Sir, just to let you know, these apples are pretty expensive." I was like, "Wait, do I look like I don't have apple money?" I'm like, "Oh no, I want them. I've been saving up." I had my eye on that bag of apples for a long time. I said, someday, God willing, those are going home with me. Today's that day. I just cashed in a war bond. Ring them up! She's like, well, they're $4 a pound. I'm like, yeah, I saw the sign, but I did not come here to do math, so I don't know what that means. She's like, okay, just so you know, these apples are $20.13. Are you sure you want them? And I was like, yeah, I want some of them. I'll take an apple. Give me an apple. Not the big one. Please put that one back. And that's when I sadly realized she had profiled me correctly. I'm doing all right. I don't have Honeycrisp money. I have Honeycrisp taste and a Red Delicious budget. That's what I have. I accidentally bought organic apples. That was the problem. Which, by the way, that rarely happens in the self-checkout. Little shopping tip for you guys. No. If your budget's a little tight, good news, a lot of stuff looks like a banana. Not that I'd be able to pull it off. I've never pulled off self-checkout by myself. People who work there have to come help me. Like more than one. A guy with keys shows up. He's like, what'd you do? I'm like, it says unauthorized item in bagging area, and I think it's me. I don't actually work here. I'm trying to avoid the checker. I don't want to talk to I don't like that conversation. I don't want to talk about what I'm buying and how that means my evening's gonna go. Oh, Pepto-Bismol and duct tape. Hey, put it in the bag. How about that? Put it in the bag. Chatty Cathy, put it in the bag. I don't know why I picked those two items. I apologize. I guess Pepto is plan A, duct tape is plan B. The point is, this ends tonight.
Older man, getting out of shape. You want to know how you know you're getting out of shape? When you get out of breath blowing on the food to cool it down that you're trying to eat. It's a big hint. So I got to start exercising more. That's the thing. I'm looking at the machine I can buy and take on the road with me. And here it is. I'm watching the infomercial. And here's the big picture of the guy at the before picture. What he looked like before. And here's the machine. And he's working out with it. He's real vigorous on it. That's what he looks like in the after picture. I'm like, man, maybe I should buy that thing. Work out with it just 3 times a week for 20 minutes each time. And maybe I could look like that guy in the before picture. You guys left me hanging on that one for a second. I'm not even going to lie to you. I know that I eat poorly. I know that it doesn't escape my attention, but everybody wants to tell me how to eat. I'm driving overnight one time, tired, just ready to get home, order some stuff in the drive-thru around the corner, and there's a woman standing outside of her car stopping me. I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, don't go get your food yet." Why? I said, "Because I told them we didn't want the food that they had already prepared. We wanted our food prepared fresh." Lady, I just ordered 3 cheeseburgers off the dollar menu at McDonald's at 2:45 in the morning. I am well aware of the level of cuisine I'm about ready to have. Why don't you get out of my way while the chef prepares yours the way you want it? Let him throw my fat in a sack and get on down the road. I've got places to be. I was at a nice restaurant one time and the waitress walked over. She said, "Have you had time to look at the menu?" "Yes, I have. What can I get you?" I said, "I'm a very basic, straightforward kind of eater. How about like a steak and a baked potato?" She said, "Okay, perfect. How would you like your potato?" Baked. I thought I hit that a second ago. Did I not run through that already? She goes, "No, I have 22 different ways I can prepare a baked potato. Would you like to hear the list?" "No, I don't want to hear the list. Make it hot. Put it in your pocket and walk around with it for a second. I don't care. Heat it up." "How would you like your steak?" "Well done." "Oh, I'm sorry. We don't prepare our steaks well done." "Well, that's okay because it's not our steak." I'm not trying to sound like a horrible person here, but I plan on eating it all by myself, you know? She said, "No, the cooks won't prepare it that way, but you can have it done any other way." "Oh, any other way? Do you do medium?" "Yes, we do. We'll do that twice." I've got a buddy that's really into juicing. He's like, "Man, if you juice fruits and vegetables, you get so many more vitamins and nutrients." I said, "Let me make you some." "I don't know. Come on, let me. Well, what's in it?" "Well, this has kale and carrots." "No." He's like, no, I'm also going to put some beets in it." "Oh, good. There for a second, I thought it was going to taste like crap." Glad you added some of those plump, delicious beets I've been craving. You could mix in a little broken concrete and rock salt and really help wash that down. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. You do insane things to try and stay in shape. Though I had some people come up to me after a show and like, "Hey man, let me ask you a question. Do you play volleyball?" I was like, "Oh yeah." When actually the correct answer is, "Oh no." They asked me a personal question about myself to my face and I got it wrong. That is very difficult to do. They said, "We really don't need you to play, but it's like our big championship game. We thought it'd be cool if you just like stay on the side and kind of make some jokes." I'm like, "Hey man, that's cool. I can do that." So I get there and I've got an old pair of basketball shorts on, like a t-shirt from the Chuckle Hut in Tennessee or wherever it's from. And my teammates come in and they're all in these really nice looking uniforms. I'm like, "Guys, I don't have a uniform." Like, "It doesn't matter. You're not going to be playing." "Perfect. I'm going to get away with this." And they're warming up, and I'm out there helping best I can, and they're loving me, right? Till a guy gets a phone call. He goes, okay. And he looks over at me and goes, "We've got it covered. Don't worry about it." I don't know what he's getting ready to say, but we don't got it covered. I do know that. And he points at me and goes, "You got to play." "Hold up. We talked about this. I wasn't supposed to play." He goes, "No, 4 guys riding together, their Jeep broke down the interstate. They're not going to make it. If we don't start the game with 6, we're disqualified. You're number 6. And the guy walks in, he's like, "Hey man, just have a little fun and reach out to give me one of those, you know?" And right when I get about right here, somebody yelled at me and they go, "Hey, Thornsberry," and I look away and I missed. I didn't connect that, which should have been their first clue that I might not be the athlete that they were banking on. And we get in our little huddle, and the guy goes, "Okay, we're going to go cross-face rotation on 2. I don't know what that means. And he gets mad. He goes, "Cross-face rotation on 2. Yeah, the volume wasn't throwing me off. It's not where you lost me. He said, "Just stand in the corner of the playing area and try to stay out of the way." Hey, that was my plan from the beginning there, Tim. I don't know what your plan was. That's what I had to do. It's like, "Watch out, they've got Andy serving." Who's Andy? Andy was a 3-time All-American at the University of Oregon. He was a reserve for the U.S. men's Olympic volleyball team. And said he's got this weird ability to figure out the weakest player on the opposing team and will attack him. Oh, like a guy not wearing a friggin' uniform? Sherlock Andy can CSI those clues together, can he? Wonderful what they teach in Oregon. I wish this story had a better ending. I really do. Andy served the ball to me 15 times in a row because he is a horrible human being. After the third point, his team goes and sits down. They're just sitting on the side, just texting. Probably my guys on my team that aren't getting missiles fired at 85 miles an hour every 7 seconds. Man, this guy sucks. Well, I know that we had to get somebody. I know that. Why is he crying or whatever they were saying? I really don't know if that's what they were talking. We lose 15-0. Their championship season destroyed 1,000%. My fault. Everybody's mad. Everybody leaves. One guy walks back over to him and is like, hey, man, no, it's not your thing. I appreciate your training. He goes, oh, you can't do that either. And walks off.
One time, I remember, I love going to church. Love church. There was one time, there was a lady at church, found out what I did for a living. And she was like, you know, Brother Norman, the scriptures teach us that loud laughter is not approved. And I said, well, Sister Johnson, if you've ever seen me perform, you know that's not a problem. But I used to have a really cool Sunday school teacher, right? But he was a little confident. He was a little overconfident sometimes, right? And one time he forgot his lesson, so he comes in and he's like, all right, boys, tell me what we're going to do. You just go ahead and throw out any question you have about anything about life in general, anything you want about church, anything, and I'm going to give you a straightforward, honest answer right now. We're all just kind of like, excuse me? Yes, Brother Norman. Okay, is God not omnipotent? Well, yeah. Okay, is God omniscient? Yeah. Okay, well, if God is all-powerful and he's all-knowing, would he not know everything we're going to do before we do it? And then if he allows us to do it, even though he has the power to stop us from doing it, if he allows us to do it, would not then anything that we do then become God's will, thus making free agency an illusion? Why don't we just go ahead and play hangman? And later on, I studied philosophy because I want to find more. I can get more answers. So I went to college to study philosophy. It was a little weird. It's the first day of class, right? Teacher comes walking in and goes, perhaps the most important thing that you can learn in this class is that there are no absolute truths in the universe. Back there, like, yes. Yeah. Hey. Well, okay. If there are no absolute truths, and then you make the statement that there are no absolute truths. Won't the statement that there are no absolute truths be an absolute truth? Thus negating the idea that there are no absolute truths? Perhaps we should just play hangman. Then I had this other class where all we talked about for first week we talked about chairs. Not like how to build a chair or anything constructive or useful about a chair, But the idea that the chair that you're currently sitting on is not actually a chair, because that chair has not always been a chair, but in order for it to be a chair, it always has to be a chair. Therefore, it's only in a temporary state of representing a chair, because the idea of a real chair is an idea of a chair, and that's the real chair being the chair, and that this is just a physical manifestation of the idea of the chair, because the idea of the chair is a real chair, so this chair is not really a chair. For a week. And then at the end of the week, we come walking in, and the professor is like, okay, we're going to have a quiz, and just take out a sheet of paper, and as we've been discussing about the existence of a chair, you need to defend your own existence. Sitting there thinking, man, maybe it's not too late to go change my degree to something real, like, English. So I just started thinking about it, and then I just got up. I got up and started walking out, and the professor said, hey, excuse me, where are you going? And I was like, pardon me? Who are you talking to? It was hard to you. Me? Yeah, you. Well, I guess I got an A.
If you saw my last special, I made fun of millennials. I don't know if you remember that or not. Yeah, it was quite popular. Do we have anybody here tonight under the age of 30? Any 20-somethings? That's still the dumbest group of humans I've ever met in my life. You're not dumb academically, I'll get to that, but you are soft emotionally, I can tell you that. The reason I say that, when I was growing up, our parents let us play in the street, climb trees, and blow stuff up. And you know what happened if you got hurt or maimed? You got a new name. I had two friends I grew up with, Amer and Niner. When Amer was 6, he was in the garage with his big brothers blowing stuff up. He lost his right eye. It was closed the rest of his life. He looked like he was aiming a gun. That's how he got the name Amer. He was the Amer. Everybody called him Amer. I did not know his name was not Amer. Till the first day of 3rd grade, the teacher said, Ross Thomas. We all went, Ross Thomas, who? Amer is your name, Ross? We started laughing. That sounded funnier to us than Amer did. And Amer says to the teacher, no, my name's Amer. My mom is the only one that calls me Ross. And she goes, well, Amer, how'd you get that name? He goes, do you imagine now a kid even pretending to point a gun at a teacher? There'd be a lockdown, there'd be a helicopter above the school. My friend Niner in the 4th grade, there were 4 of us who were all out in the woods together. We were all climbing trees. We were all up about 15 feet, and he fell. And on the way down, he was trying to grab branches, and by the time he hit the ground, he'd lost most of his ring finger. And every time I tell this story, I still picture it. It's 55 years ago. It still makes me laugh. Because he got up and he's dusting himself off. He's going, I'm bleeding somewhere. I'm bleeding. I'm cut. I don't know what. And my other friend says, look at your hand. And he screamed and he ran home. And we all climbed down and followed him, but none of us thought to look for his finger. About 4 days later, he's back in class. His hand's all heavily bandaged up. We're learning about decimal points for the first time in our life. He raises his hand. He says, I have 9.2 fingers. Called him Niner for the rest of his life. When I was a kid, everybody had a nickname. Every single kid. Nobody went by their real name, and it was given to you by your friends, usually about a body part that was not flattering. I had friends who were Paunch, Taterhead, Lips, Chin. Lips had big old Pete Davidson lips. Chin didn't have one. We originally called him Viola because we knew he'd never play one. I had another friend in high school. He had a short right arm. It was fully functional, but it was a short arm on this side, right? So he had a big hand and a little hand. We called him Clock. Everybody called him Clock. The teachers called him Clock. He was Clock. Clock was awesome, too. He was in my second period algebra class, and we were supposed to be in our seats every day at 9 o'clock when the bell rang, but Clock would always wait out in the hall until that bell rang, and he'd burst through the door every morning like this. It was never not funny. Every single day we waited for that moment and laughed for 10 minutes. One day we're sitting in class, the bell rings, and he doesn't come through the door. We're like, oh, well, that's weird. Where's Clock? Must be absent. Well, he was tardy. 10 minutes later, he burst through that door like... We laughed until 9:30. And Clock was the best student in class, and he was by far the best student in class. And every Friday we had to race him on problems. The teacher would put problems up on the board. We had to compete against him. We called it Beat the Clock. Nobody could beat him. He had that left hand going like this, and the eraser in his short hand. And like... One time in PE class, this is after class, we're in the locker room changing, right? And we had two new kids in class, and they were bullies. And they were bullying Clock. And so Clock's in there, and he goes, I'm going to knock you out with this hand. And then he goes, boom, and just spins this kid and knocks him out, just boom, hits the ground. And then he turns the other one and goes, or this one. And when he hit that kid, we all hooted and hollered, and the teacher came running out of his office. What's going on? What's going on? We said, well, these guys were bullying Clock, and he knocked one of them out. And by then, this kid's kind of getting up, and the teacher just walks over and goes, you just got knocked out by a kid with a half arm. Hope you learn to keep your mouth shut. And that was the end of it. Nobody got sent to the office. Nobody got suspended. Nobody's parents got called. Nowadays, Clock would have been the one that got suspended for throwing that first punch. And then you'd had to bring your parents and get an anger management plan. Well, I got angry and I punched that kid. That's the plan. Can you imagine now calling kids by their afflictions? Hey, here's my buddies, Blinky and Snort. Here's my other friend, Orphan. His parents were anti-vaxxers. Not accurate.